Hey there. This video is about delegation of administration, and wait for it, of objects in OUs. I'll say it again. This is about delegation of administration of objects in OUs, or more simply put, delegation of control. And using delegation of control to narrow the scope of management using access control lists in a discretionary way. So anyway, I'm going to keep it simple here. Say there are some ad hoc admins that need to be given some specific permissions without over-permissioning them. Key thing here being without over-permissioning them. You could create an OU within an OU, or just an OU, place the groups in there, and that may be like a help desk group, and maybe some users or groups nested in that group. Anyway, the delegation can be fine-tuned with the access control list, and this is done by, with the delegation of control wizard, and then the inheritance will flow down throughout the OUs. Okay, so if I click on, I'm going to deal with just this OU right here, users. Now, like I said, this would typically have another OU in here, unless you wanted the inheritance to flow down through a bunch of groups, which might be the case, but in this case, just one OU. Keep it simple, right? User 10 is the ad hoc admin that we want, and you'd think, yeah, maybe they should be up here in admins, but let's not focus on the name. Let's focus on the fact that they're in this OU here. I'm going to jump over here to client 10 and do a who am I. This is user 10 example dot local, and I guess I could, let's see, I could echo the logon server for you, and we can see that it is DC01, which is this server right here. Now, before I go any further, I want to point out that if I right click on here, you could jump right to delegate control, but I want to go into properties. There's only 3 tabs right here, so we need to go up here, click on view and advanced features, and then drill back down to the OU, which isn't very far in this case. And now if I right click on users and click on properties again, we have a security tab, and then you can go in here and see that right here you can see these are just built-in, default groups here. All right, so we want to give user 10 a little bit more permissions, or finely tuned permissions. Right now we have this James Jones account, which is created without a password, and it's disabled, and consequently we need to, or user 10 needs to be able to do something with this remotely. And we have RSAT over here, Remote Server Administration Tools, and I'll go into Active Directory Users and Computers, and if I try to enable the account from user 10's accounts, you can see that insufficient access rights to perform the operation. There are insufficient access rights. Alright, and if I want to, as user 10, reset the password, access is denied. Again, it's a matter of permissions and access control entries, which comprise the access control list. But anyway, I digress. Go back here and right click on this OU and select delegate control, and then add user 10, and there they are right there. Click next, and I could these are some common baked-in permissions here. Create, delete, and manage user accounts. That would be over-permissioning that user for the tasks needed. Now, reset user passwords and force password change at next logon. This is something that would do the job, at least one of the jobs, although it would not allow the enabling of the account remotely. So I'll just select this one right here and click next, and then finish. Go back over here, bring up RSAT, ADUC, and we'll go here. And now none of this stuff worked before, and enable account still won't work, obviously. And reset password. Notice I didn't point this out before, but this was grayed out before. Now it's not. So let's give James Jones a password. All right. All right. So that's been changed. No problem with that. But if we go down here to enable account, insufficient access rights to perform the operation. All right. So this is where it gets a little bit more granular. Now, I could go into properties and do this a different way, or actually change the fine-tune properties here, but I'm just going to click Delegate Control again because that's what this video is about. So user 10, and like I said before, this would normally be a group, although it could be a user. Maybe in a remote office, right? You just have one user, they've got some skills, and you want them to do things down in that remote office. Click Next, and instead of just delegating the following common tasks, choose Create a Custom Task to Delegate. And in here, we don't want to choose this radio button, but only the following objects in the folder. And what is of concern here is user objects. So we'll select that, and then Next, and it says show these permissions. I don't want general. I want property specific permissions. Property specific. And the two permissions that we're looking for are way at the bottom, and they are read user account control and write user account control. There's read, and we need to be able to change it, so of course write. Then I'll click Next and finish. Now if I go back over here, signed in as user 10 again, the password was already changed, and so oh wait, before I do this, actually yeah, I'll just do this first here. Let's enable the account, because that was a problem before. Now it's not a problem due to the fact that we specified following objects and user objects, and then we unchecked the general, and we wanted specific, property specific types. So those two being read user account control and write user account control. And that's why this works now. But now if I go back over here into properties and then security, and remember this advanced features has to be checked to see this. And if we go into the security tab there, you don't need to click on user 10, but just go into advanced here. You can see that there is user 10, the principal, and reset password inherited from nothing, but technically in the OU, and also a couple of other entries. And if we check out reset password, you're going to see reset password here, and these are the permissions and more properties. And these are quite a few properties right here. As a matter of fact, you can choose something very specific, like just to be able to read, maybe write the zip or postal code, or something else. Anyway, you see the point there. And if you go into, let's check this out. Alright, here we have read password last set and write password last set. Now that would be for reading the password and changing the password. So this video was about delegation, or delegating control of through the wizard here, and various ways to do that. So to recap, it was about delegation of administration of the objects, in using the objects in the OUs, and those OUs are created and then use the delegation and control wizard, and those groups are placed in the OU, and they can be groups nested in groups and specific users, obviously. And then the delegation can be fine-tuned, and inheritance will flow down through the OUs if you have a rather lengthy OU path. And that is one method to narrow scope of management. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.